Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the channel once again. This story I'm about to read is one of the saddest stories you found on the internet today. By reading the story, I was almost in tears. There are some things we try to overlook that needs to be paid serious attention to. Someone said, when you discover somebody's deepest secrets, the angel you know can turn to the biggest monster you've ever faced. This is the Comb Show. Welcome to the channel once again. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the video, share with someone. If you love the channel, please subscribe to the channel so we can grow. And like so YouTube can recommend these videos to as many people as possible. Let's get right into the story. I dated my wife for 6 years and married her after we graduated from the university. Things were not really going well with us, but we decided to get married just so people don't mock our relationship. After about 5 months, she got a job offer from a bank and was paid well. I was happy for her. I kept praying and pushing to be a better man. We were really happy as a family, but I wasn't because a man without money is always not valued. I noticed this particular man that always drops my wife off most time from the bank. When I ask, she will always say he's her boss, and because of her hard work, he always helps drop her off. Most time, this particular number calls her at night, and when I ask, she will always say it's business related. I believe her and never doubted her for once. Because why shouldn't I believe a woman who works so hard to put food on the table? And I trusted her so much. I decided to go into Forex. And with determination, God helped me and I became stable. At this point, we had a son and a daughter. And I love them so, so much. My son have her facial resemblance and my daughter have mine. My wife got some relief because I now make money and can take care of my family. I pleaded with my wife to quit her job since I already have more than enough to take care of us. But she said no. Her reasons were because she doesn't want to be idle. I decided to open a mini mart for her so she can manage, but she insisted she wanted to continue with her banking job. I agreed, not because I can't stop her, but because even as my wife, she should also have a mind of her own. After 1 year, I decided to relocate abroad with my family so we can start up a new life out there. She was happy about the whole idea and can't wait to travel abroad. So we started getting things ready, including buying lots of food items too. We were supposed to get fuel tests done, and that was where everything started to fall apart. I kept reminding her to go for the test, but she always picks up one excuse or the other and then finally ends up not going. We were running out of time, so I told her I would take the keys to the lab in the next 3 days, and she agreed. I started noticing she became moody and her eyes and body language changed. She was just always dull, kind of cold, and I knew something was bothering her. I asked her, she said, work stress. Stop the work now, she said. No. The next day, my kids went to school only to be called by the school that my son was vomiting blood. I called my wife, but she wasn't picking up. Probably that was why the school called me, I concluded. So I quickly rushed to the school and I was told he has been taken to the hospital. Before I got to the hospital, my son was dead. Sorry. Slow. The doctor said it was food poisoning. I was in complete shock. My heart shattered into a million pieces. How could this have happened? My son, my precious boy, was gone. My mind races with questions, but I couldn't focus on any of them. All I knew was that my world has just crumbled in the most unimaginable way. When my wife finally answered her phone, I was too numb to be angry. Her voice trembled when she heard the news and she rushed to the hospital. But when she arrived, instead of collapsing in grief as I expected, she just stared blankly at our son's lifeless body. There was no wailing, no tears, just a cold, detached expression. That night, after we returned home, something in me snapped. The pain of losing our son was unbearable, but my wife's strange behavior ignited a fire of suspicion within me. I replayed every odd moment over the past few months. The late night calls, the reluctance to quit her job, the mysterious man who dropped her off, and now her chilling reaction to her son's death. It all started to make sense in a terrifying way. I confronted her, demanding to know what was going on. She didn't say a word, just stood there staring at the floor. My anger boiled over and I shouted at her, begging her to tell me the truth. Finally, with a voice barely above a whisper, she confessed. The man who has been dropping her off wasn't just her boss, he was her lover, and their relationship had been going on for years. Long before our marriage, she's never been in love with me. I was just a convenient cover to maintain her image. The guilt and stress of living a double life had been eating away at her, which is why she's become so distant. But the worst was yet to come. My wife has been planning to leave me and take our children with her, but when she found out I wanted to relocate abroad, my lover pressured her to stay. She couldn't bring herself to tell me the truth, so she continued the facade, hoping it will all work out somehow. Then she dropped the bombshell that crushed whatever remained of my heart. The food that poisoned our son was meant for me. A moment of silence, isn't it? Slow. Her lover has suggested it, thinking that if I were out of the picture, they could be together without any complication. But somehow, her innocent son had eaten the poisoned food instead. As the weight of her confession settled in, I felt a rage unlike anything I've ever known. I couldn't comprehend how the woman I had loved, trusted, and built a family with could betray me in such a cruel and monstrous way. In that moment, I realized that the woman standing before me was no longer my wife. She was a stranger, a dangerous stranger. I knew I had to protect my daughter, who was now the only reason I had to leave. I called the police and she was arrested for her son's murder. The days that followed were a blur of grief and anger and disbelief. The love I once had for my wife had turned into deep, bitter hatred. My wife had been torn apart by lies and betrayals, and nothing will ever be the same. I buried my son, and with him the last vestiges of the life I thought I had. My daughter and I eventually relocated abroad, far away from the pain and memories. I focused all my energy on giving her the best life possible, vowing to never let anyone hurt her the way her mother had hurt us. But the scars remain a constant reminder of the darkness that once shadowed our lives. I learned that love and trust could be dangerous when placed in the wrong hand, and that sometimes the people we think we know best are the one who can destroy us the most. Here's the story. How do you feel about this story? Put your comments in the comment section. This was the Cobb Show, and I'll see you on the next one. Please subscribe. Ciao.